Hey, welcome to the channel. I want y'all to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. I want to bring some breaking news to y'all attention. Everybody sit back and we look at everything that just went on and we say, why was Straight Drop and Cornelius Smith beefing? Why was Cornelius Smith upset at Straight Drop when they both fighting the same case? Straight Drop knew that Govan was going to end up telling, or Big Jip was going to end up telling, because word already had got out that the feds was already looking at the people who put the money up, and they wanted the middleman, the mediocre people who ran down on Young Dolph. Rumors speculate that allegedly Mia Jaye, she was working with Jay-Z this whole time, and she supported Jay-Z whole operation. I want y'all to really understand that Jay-Z, he's not with CMG, he's Rock Nations, he owns CMG, and CMG is beefing with Paper Route Entertainment, which is Young Dolph's label.
Or should I say the PRE ops, who happen to be Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jip. Now the folks want to know, the folks in Dolph land and everybody across the globe who got love for Young Dolph Paper Route, they want to know what's taking so long with this Young Dolph case. First, y'all gotta understand, an M1, it could take anywhere between 2 and 4 years. Hey man, that's the way it's gonna be, especially when you got guys paid off in position to make sure that nothing comes your way. And you already know who I'm talking about. Again, Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jip. But check this out, man. Once Govan got caught up, that should have put it into perspective. Who's all behind Young Dolph getting set up at the cookie shop? Now, the reason why I say that, because even when Govan first got caught, it was already word that he was watching Young Dolph. The people already stated that they had been investigating Govan even 6 months before Young Dolph got set up. But let me tell you why they couldn't continue on with that investigation. Because of the Scorpion unit. Yeah, man, the same guys that's related to Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jip. See, man, the folks been trying to tell y'all, everything comes right back to Yo Gotti and Big Jip. And you know, y'all can't forget about that guard dog, Blac Youngsta. Man, I've been trying to tell y'all from the beginning. Not even me. You got folks like Grove Hero and some other people from Memphis been letting y'all know that Blac Youngsta, he was doing a lot of underhanded activity towards the paper route artists. Between him and Big Jip, hiring different street cats to go at the different paper route artists. I'm talking about from OG Bang Wayne, Shondell Barnett, JoJo Splat, and everybody that they scooped up draws right back to Big Jip and his homeboy Govan. I know you got some guys saying, now, what Blac Youngsta got to do with that? See, since Blac Youngsta is Big Jip and Yo Gotti guard dog, he automatically picked up the beef that they had with Young Dolph. Yeah, we could all go into, Young Dolph. He said some things about Big Jip. He even said some things about Yo Gotti, to the point where he talked about piping down Yo Gotti BM. So yeah, that's gonna make any man feel some type of way. If not him, it's Big Brother. See, what I'm trying to let y'all know is, even one point in time, Young Dolph, he had respect for Big Jip, because even Young Dolph knew the connections that Big Jip had. So even though later on in life, in Young Dolph, he ended up losing respect for Big Jip, at the same time, that still doesn't take away from the fact that Big Jip, some guys in the streets, they really about that life. What I'm saying is, if it come to it, they gonna handle theirs and not really say nothing much about it. Plus, I've been trying to tell y'all, man, that it was Big Jip affiliates who really didn't like what Young Dolph was saying about Big Jip, or even Yo Gotti at that. And now y'all seeing it's all real, because you got Govan and you got Straight Drop Uncle. See, Straight Drop Uncle, he was another person that's affiliated to Big Jip, and that informed Straight Drop relative, whom is Jamarcus Johnson, about the whole setup and how much they gonna get paid. So again, dealing with that, we all know that the bag, it didn't come from Govan. It definitely came from somebody who could benefit from Young Dolph's untimely demise. So y'all don't think that once they heard about what Young Dolph was saying about Big Jip, that they wanted to press the issue on Young Dolph to let him know, and you gotta stand down, especially if Big Jip is keeping these guys paid to the point where they can take care of themselves and their families. So what I'm saying here, it wasn't just jealousy that was involved in Young Dolph's untimely demise. It was also dealing with Young Dolph. He was a lot of competition for Yo Gotti in Memphis. Because y'all gotta understand, at one point in time, Yo Gotti, he was really looked at as that guy. And I'm talking about that guy who can make moves to benefit the communities in Memphis. And then you get somebody like Young Dolph, a much younger, taller cat, a more cooler and down-to-earth dude than Yo Gotti is. And everybody in Memphis already know that Young Dolph, he didn't never mind giving back. Matter of fact, everybody in Cat State already know that Young Dolph, he had put more guys on in Memphis than Yo Gotti did. Just in that small amount of time that Young Dolph was really in the game, really getting to the bag. So at the same time Young Dolph was getting to the bag, he made sure that the guys around him was also making money as well. And to the point where they making money off their own craft, off their own name. They don't need Young Dolph to continue to make music or money for them. Because Young Dolph, he put them in a position where they could do it on their own. So once y'all tie all that together, now y'all can understand that, again, jealousy and competition came behind Young Dolph and set up and Makita's. Matter of fact, while y'all at it, go ahead and drop those Dolphs in the comments and show some love for Paper Route Frank. Now, like I stated from the beginning, the folks want to know what's taking so long with this case. See, another point y'all got to understand is, the guys who they say allegedly sent up Young Dolph, now they stating that they not guilty. That's Straight Drop and Cornelius Smith. But then you got Govin, when he got caught up, he say he orchestrated and paid for the whole Young Dolph setup. Now the folks already knew that's partially true. Because again, Govin, he doesn't have the money or the resources like Yo Gotti or Big Juke does. And now we can't forget about their relatives on the Scorpion unit. We can all see that they played their part to make sure that none of the camera footage came up, and also grabbing Young Dolph jewelry when he was down, and giving Straight Drop an escape route on his way out. Because this whole situation is bigger than Straight Drop, Cornelius Smith, Govin, or even Straight Drop relative, whom is Jamarcus Johnson. I don't think these guys even knew that they was pawns, part of a bigger chess play. Again, you got 4 guys right now that's locked up behind allegedly setting up Young Dolph at the cookie shop. But they still don't have clear evidence on who actually did it. So that's why you have Cornelius Smith and Straight Drop pleading not guilty. And because the Scorpion unit hid so much information, that's the reason why the feds had to come in. All this adds into what I was trying to tell y'all from the beginning. You gotta have the proper people paid that's in position to make sure that the play on Paper Route Frank go as planned. Now y'all starting to understand. So you got 2 people, whom is Govin and Blac Youngsta, who tried to revert all the attention away from Yo Gotti and Big Juke having their hands in the cookie jar pertaining to Young Dolph untimely demise. See, the point where I'm coming from is, it's messed up that all these brothers got together just to take out one man who was actually doing for the community. Again, don't get me wrong, I understand Young Dolph, he had his beats, and at the same time, some things he said definitely ruffled some feathers, and that's pertaining to the guys in the streets that's affiliated to CMG and Heavy Camp, and some people in the business world who didn't like that Young Dolph was buying up a bunch of property. Plus, on top of that, how Young Dolph always wanted to stay independent, to where he even got Key Glock with that mindset. So like I told y'all, man, that's another reason why Bankroll Freddy, he may be on his way to Paper Route. But on a positive point, y'all do have the Young Dolph Museum that's going on in Memphis right now. So if y'all in Memphis at this time, go ahead and check out the Dolphland Museum. And again, show some love for Paper Route Frank. But yeah, as black men, we gotta do better. Because the more I think about it, the more I can only come to the fact that it's us that's bringing one another down. This has nothing to do with no other group of people. This is all us. And jealousy is always a component to the reason why we end up taking each other out. Now, once a lot of folks heard that news, it threw a lot of people off. Because they was trying to understand, how did Govin, somebody who admitted to taking out Young Dolph, get a bond set so low? That was something I was trying to understand until I had to analyze the whole situation. I said, now, if they familiar that Govind is affiliated to Yo Gotti brother Big Jook, and they've been knowing each other for years, but they don't have the person who actually paid for the whole Young Dolph setup. Because again, they know it's not Govind. So they purposely set his bond low just to see who gonna come bond him out. And once they do, they gonna follow the money. You understand? Now y'all gotta remember, I just told y'all a couple days ago that Govind, he got caught with a cell phone behind the wall. Who y'all think arranged for Govind to have a cell phone behind the wall? And on top of that, who y'all think Govind was in communication with? It had to be Yo Gotti brother Big Jook to let him know, hey my G, don't worry about what's going on out here. You're gonna be out in a couple of days. Because to me, it's just funny how after Govind get caught with a cell phone, which a lot of people didn't believe me, but again, it's funny how a couple of days after Govind get caught with a cell phone, he get a $90,000 bond. Man, that should let y'all know that Yo Gotti, he got the proper people paid in position to make sure that the play on Paper Route Frank go as planned. See, and it's not just dealing with the guys in the streets. I told y'all, man, that Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jook, they got relatives on the Scorpion unit. The same Scorpion unit that made sure that none of the camera footage came up. They assisted Cornelius Smith and Stray Drop to get away in the white Benz. They sat in that parking lot the whole time, watching the whole play on Young Dolph go down. Plus, once it got done, they was the same ones who snatched Young Dolph blue jewelry when he was laying there. It's just a lot of bogus activity went into taking out Paper Route Frank. And it's messed up because Young Dolph, he was doing for the whole community. He didn't mind giving back. And that's why a lot of people respected him. Not just in Memphis. I'm talking about across the globe. Then you got some folks saying another reason why they gave Govind such a low bond is because of what happened to his daughter, Lotta Cash Desto. Now, if y'all not familiar with that story, let me give y'all a quick update. Now, Lotta Cash Desto, she was an up-and-coming rapper out of Memphis, and she got sent up last year in Houston. And with that, you got some folks who believe the reason why Lotta Cash Desto was sent up was because of all the criminal activity that her father was getting into, and it circled right back around to her. Y'all gotta understand, some of that criminal activity has something to do with taking out Paper Route Frank. But again, you got some folks who believe that's why Govind got such a low bond. But still, it doesn't negate the fact that Govind admitted to taking out Young Dolph. So once he admitted that, you had people like me and Jaye and Young Dolph brother, they thought he was gonna instantly get convicted for what he admitted to. That seemed to not be the case. Now check this out. I remember when it was reported that them people stated they got a tip that Govind had been watching Young Dolph 6 months before Young Dolph got sent up. But they never went and questioned Govind until a year later, after all the chess moves had been made with taking out Paper Route Frank. So with Govind being released on bond, this is bigger than what we think it really is. But at the same time, don't give up hope, because everybody who has something to do with taking out Young Dolph, their time is coming. You just gotta be patient, because a case like this, it may not be solved just in 1 or 2 years. It may come close to 3 or 4 years. That's because it's more hands in the cookie jar that we are unaware of. So what you feel about Govind getting a bond, knowing that he was the one to admitting to taking out Young Dolph?
I think that it's really, really suspicious that Govind got a bond at all in the first place, especially considering the fact that when the court considers if someone should get a bond or not, they have to consider whether they're a flight risk, and they have to consider whether they are a threat to the community. Now, if someone is admitting to orchestrating someone being sent up, then that automatically places them in those 2 categories. And so if I'm Mia Jaye, I'm outraged at this point. Now I have to look over my shoulder with the person that sent up the love of my life being released out of jail. So how is she supposed to feel now knowing that she might be at risk because you have let out the very threat of her family? Also, we have to remember that Mia Jaye has been having to live in fear ever since this happened at the very, very beginning. You had fans blaming her for being involved in setting up Dolph. And then on top of that, she had to realize that she was also maybe a target for the same people who got to him at Makita's shop that day.
And you had young Dolph brother Marcus, he felt the same way. Because you had a lot of people to try to say that he was the one who helped set up his brother, when that wasn't the case. That's not even Marcus Thornton's thought process. He always wanted to protect young Dolph. That's the reason why when young Dolph had the 100 shells sent at him, Marcus, he wanted to make sure that he was by young Dolph's side at all times. Because he didn't never want something like that to happen again. So for people to put his name out there like he had something to do with taking out his brother, y'all gotta understand how they made him feel. And like she stated, same thing goes for Mia Jaye. She felt the same way. She got so much love for young Dolph. She was trying to understand, why would people even mumble her name as having something to do with taking out Paper Route Frank? Come on, man, that's not right. Matter of fact, before we get into it, let's pay our respects and say rest in peace to young Dolph, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in Dolph land. Hey man, while y'all at it, go ahead and drop those Dolphs in the comments and show your appreciation for Paper Route Frank.
And also, Mia Jaye is having to seek legal counsel at this point, because if these moves are getting made in front of her face with her loved one's case, then she has to make sure that there's no foul play happening. Now, of course, we know with most high-profile cases, usually a bond is set in the millions. So this doesn't seem to be handled the same way. And so if I'm Mia Jaye, I'm going to want to use the attorneys that I have on retainer to look into the reason why this is not being held with the same care. A $90,000 bond means that it was set at $900,000. And that is a lot lower than what is typically used for cases like these.
She's right, but like I said, this must be a play that was set up by the feds to see who gonna pay that bond. And again, whoever pays that bond, they gonna find out and connect them to the same ones who paid for the whole Young Dolph setup. Cause I'm trying to tell y'all, again, they all know that Govan, he ain't got the money to pay off a bunch of these guys. Again, he may know some people in the streets, but it doesn't mean that he got the funds. So with that, always be aware and always stay prepared.